Live, laugh, love.
I have
That's
to do more
gonna be
editing now to
theme.
include the full screen.
Oh shit! Oh fuck! So if you don't see anything and I just look like an idiot doing this, it's because my face. You can only see my face. The rest of the room's cut off, but that's my whiteboard that says "Live, Laugh, Love" that my barber wrote. So shout out Ollie Jones. Fucking
You call him your barber, but it's fine to admit he's your boyfriend. There's nothing wrong with it. You can own it.
yeah. Well, he's both. So I
Okay.
was right.
What hair was he
But-
cutting?
You're a fucking dirty dog, you.
But
I
yeah,
just,
that
I just
is-
swore. So I was-
Oh, well, it's fine. We're not monetizing anyway, mate. So we need more people to sub yet.
In it, so
Yeah,
we're
we're gonna
start subscribing, people.
we live for esports. We laugh at esports, and we love everything but esports, and especially we love shitting on esports. So, oops, I just swore. But yeah, so
Whoops.
together that fits in quite well.
Mm.
The thumbnail and title might actually not give away what this video is about at all because I'm going to clickbait it to the max. So it might be worth speaking about it up front. We're going to look at developers, the evil overlords, or potentially good people, the gods of esports.
Givers and the takers, the double-edged sword that is the publisher.
Full of absolute mouth-breathing neeks. I don't know what's wrong with me. I turn this on and I just turn into a dickhead like straight away. Like,
Do you know? Wait, hold on. You know, mouth breathers. You probably know this because you fucking listen to Andrew Huberman and shit. You know what I'm going to say?
I do know what's the Huberman.
You don't?
Yeah,
Fucking
I have
liar. Andrew Huberman's a beast. No, mouth breathers. There's something like there's a book written about it. People that breathe through their mouths and like sleep with their mouths open and shit. Like I think they even have like a lower life expectancy.
Yeah, they do.
Faces droop quicker over time, like across the lifespan. So if you can get used to breathing through your nose when you're not like doing any physical exertion, just don't breathe through your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm getting back into running, and I'm doing exclusively nose breathing.
Are you really?
There as well, yeah.
Must be pretty hard.
Really make sure you like
certain...
controls your pace entirely. Like you're making sure you're at like a certain level. You're not like absolutely blowing out your ass. You only go so instead of going by time or distance and like really like controlling it, instead of going by feel. You know what I mean? You can get really annoying when you're just like obsessed with numbers. You just do it based on your capacity to be able to like breathe comfortably.
Fair, that's actually really interesting. I'm going to try that one day.
It's also very fucking tough. You find out that you're not as good as you think. But that is an insight into our next spin-off podcast.
Yeah. 3 minutes in classic Cyberathletics fashion, we've still not spoke about, not properly about the topic we're actually here for.
No. So I think it's just generally a big topic and more people speaking about the fact that developers just fuck a lot of stuff up, but also you'd literally not have a game without them. So it's a really tricky topic, but it adds an interesting dynamic to the whole conversation because if you're comparing it to sports, there's not necessarily like I can go have a kick about whenever I want, but I can't host like an amateur tournament like without permission type shit. So it adds an extra bit of spice and nuance to the conversation about esports ownership and the industry as a whole. And I think we've spoken about it before, how like teams get the short end of the stick. So I think it's worth highlighting at this point that the developers get the long end of the stick. I've never heard that said, but I have to assume that is the opposite of that. But it also sounds a tad bit.
Yeah, it sounds a bit
like I'm talking about a penis, which if I was, that's fine, but I'm not. So
sounds like you're insinuating a little bit.
Oh no, I think most game developers have got absolute peckers. Just for the record. What's wrong? I'm going to be nice for this episode. This episode, you're getting nice, Adam.
Is that everybody that works at a publisher, or is that the publisher itself has a figurative pecker?
No, everyone who works there. You tried cleaning it up. I appreciate your effort. And from this moment on, I'm going to be nice.
Okay. Yeah, no, nice they are the giver and the taker, the publishers. They really are. And like for anyone that doesn't know, it's basically just because they own the entire thing. So they have the final say on literally everything. So like the reason in sport, why are you laughing?
Carry on.
Why are you laughing?
Because I've got 15 jokes already, man. Like, and I'm trying to be normal. So
I hold it in because I wanted to say this point because we've detoured a lot. So the reason, for example, in sport, you have teams or like players that are part of a union. I've written about this before. Like players that are part of a union, they can unionize because it's basically, without getting into loads and loads of detail, it's a two-party system. So you've got the teams in the league, which is one party, and then you've got like the league itself, which is the second party. So they can unionize against them, yada yada yada. In esports, you don't really have that because you've got three parties. You'll have the players, then you'll have the teams, then you have the publisher, and like, yeah, that's just. I don't want to get into too much heavy detail on that because it's boring to explain right now.
But they're all fighting for more from each other. Basically, they're all
Hmm.
trying to. The like teams and players are both getting cooked by the publisher,
Yeah.
effectively. So in a sense, they should be on the same page, but then also players are looking to get more out of teams. Teams are looking to get more out of players, and they don't always act in the best interest of each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
definitely.
it creates an interesting dynamic, I suppose. You see,
And
it kind of goes okay with the LCSPA in some places. It's done all right. They've at least done better this time than they were before. But I remember, like back in its early days, it was literally funded by Riot. So they're literally like trying to bargain against the people that are funding them, and it's just like, oh, the company that's funding them, and it's like, yeah, good luck with that, mate.
Yeah. And so, like, even running a league becomes really difficult just because of the publisher. Because you've got like it's much harder to introduce like a salary cap because of the publisher, for example. Whereas in normal leagues, you have that because you've got unionization. You can then introduce a salary cap, but in esports, because you can't the players can't unionize. You can't introduce anything like a salary control mechanism. So then the leagues can like get a bit out of hand. As we've seen in esports, where like player salaries are just a bit crazy. So like, but all of this essentially, we've both probably written a lot about this, like stems from the publisher. But like you said, it's a catch-22 because without them, we literally wouldn't have a fucking industry if these companies didn't make the games. So yeah, it's a weird one. And you've seen, like I just wrote something about EA, who's the publisher of Apex. They were basically chatting. So in short, what the report
No,
was
let's
about.
go in long, bro. Let's
Okay,
dive deep.
let's go along. Okay, so
Let's go long and hard into it.
EA.
And deep.
What was your joke, by the way, before?
Oh, I had like 10. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I can't just rattle them all off.
Okay. So EA is the publisher of Apex Legends, and EA was chatting to 20 esports teams. I mean, it was chatting to some of these teams for years. I'm talking from like 2019 about introducing. This was around the time that ALGS was first formed, which is like the premier competition in that game. It was chatting to teams about introducing skins into Apex and then share revenue from those skin sales with the teams. Now that's like one of the main ways, one of the best ways at the moment, I think, for a lot of teams to earn money. Riot is good at this. They've done it well in Valorant, at least, where they've shared a good chunk on these big events with teams and earned them. Like some of them have earned like maybe millions, but at the very least, like high hundreds of thousands. So that's a lot. That's a lot. And if that happens like 2 times a year, it's huge. So EA were talking to teams about doing that for Apex Legends. In March 2022, one person told me for the report, they'd already started at that point developing the skins. There's leaks, like these leaks have been about for months, of the team skins in the game, already in the game, fully developed and everything, all the motions and everything, fully like done. And I've seen the emails and stuff, and I'll get into the letter that teams drafted, that they sent to EA, pissed off and stuff. But EA, so teams were led to believe by EA and Respawn, who's the developer, for ages that RevShare was like the context for all discussions. Like that was what they were promised essentially. In September last year, when it finally came down, they were like 3 weeks out from fucking when they were supposed to be having the skins in the game. So like they still had no agreement in place, like no contractual agreement, despite the fact skins were ready and about to be put in the store in October, like mid-October. They were still talking about it in mid-September. Like EA still hadn't really made an offer. Every time teams chased, they were like, "We're just working on it." Yada yada yada. EA offered teams, 20 of them, so all the biggest teams, mostly in NA, like not all, but mostly had like FaZe, Fnatic, TSM, Space Station, Sentinels, Alliance, like, and loads more bigger ones like than that, Complexity, a few others. They were offered $60,000 as a flat fee, which is like a smack in the face. So like, I think one of my sources basically said like, I earned double that in 1 quarter in another game that I compete in, and you do easily like 60 grand as a flat fee with no incentive to like promote the game, push the skins is like a really insulting offer. So what teams did was they banded together, which was led by Team Liquid and TSM, by the way, to draft a letter, sent it to the publisher, sent it to EA, basically saying like, we don't think this has been done in good faith. We think that basically this is like shithouse behaviour. They didn't say that, obviously. And they proposed like a counter offer of like a 50-50 rev split. So like, say if they make 100 million from the fucking, they wouldn't, but 100 million from the esports skins, teams get 50 split between them.
Right.
They obviously said no to that. They offered another thing, which was like hardly any better. It was like really still shit. Like the top 3 teams would get 160 grand instead of 60, and then like the rest, it was like a tiered system. Again, they were like, no, we don't. We think this is like an awful offer and it's not worth it for us. Send another revised offer, like get as close to 50-50 as you can, yada, yada, yada. We really think rev sharing's fair, blah, blah, blah. Here's the industry standard, which, by the way, in like Rocket League, I think is 30%. You've got Halo, which I think is 50. Siege, Rainbow Six Siege is 50. So like there was like industry standard is this. And then at that point, when teams went back to EA and said that, EA just shut it down. They just said, right, well, we're not like doing anything. And they said like, we need to go away and discuss internally how we can best help teams. Bullshit. And then at that point, so since then, I think Navi, Space Station Gaming, Liquid, G2, and one other like tier 1 org, can't remember who now. But anyway, yeah, there was at least 5 that have left. And I think some other smaller orgs have left, but like in the rev sharing talks, these teams were in those talks and they all fucked off. So yeah, and like one person was telling me like EA is the worst publisher. Like they're in loads of different titles and the worst one they work with is EA. So yeah, it just goes to show like they led teams on for ages. Teams were like keen to get it going, keen to love the game, keen to promote Apex esports, build it into something, all this. And the publisher can just like, despite leading teams on, like I said, literally 4 fucking years, can just click their finger and all of a sudden, like, there's no viability for these orgs to be in the scene, so they fuck off.
That makes sense to something as well. I saw a lot of Optic fans were pissed off with the Optic like social people for not really sharing anything about Apex Legends. It seemed like they were only bothered about COD, even though they're in other titles. And now with like your report coming out and you saying this, it's like maybe teams are being like, well, we're not fucking promoting you if you don't give a shit. You know what I mean? While they figure out what's next. If you know what I mean, like we can show you how much of an impact we have on viewership and your overall impressions that you get by just not tweeting. Like
exactly,
maybe it's a little dirty protest.
It probably is, you know, mate. Because like I said, word gets around. There were 20 teams involved in these talks. 20 of the biggest teams. They all talk to each other. You would presume, like here and there, or they will. Other orgs will at the very least hear it through the grapevine. So
yeah.
And I think the shame about it is like, so EA's thing was essentially, you would assume like, this just isn't worth it for us financially. Why would we share like 20, 30%, whatever it would be, or 50 of the revenue on esports skins if we can just release plain like normal skins that we design, which will sell the same if not more. Depends, doesn't it? Who even fucking knows? But like we can design skins that will sell at least roughly the same, not share any of that money, and just keep it all to ourselves and earn millions more. That's true, but also like the esports teams and players really do promote your game and stuff. So it's just a case of like, what do you value more? Is it the operation being profitable, or having the esports teams there that support you and in turn you support them, blah blah blah. So it's and also fun little thing which I didn't include in the article, so a bit of a nugget. Apparently
anyway, sorry. We don't have sound effects yet. It's not in the budget. So
apparently the store in Apex Legends is only capable of shelving like a certain number of items. That's what one person told me. So like apparently their engine, the game engine, is just like it's pretty shit. So like you actually can't store that much in the thing. So it's like an item being showcased it actually takes up a lot of real estate in Apex, supposedly. That's what I heard from one source.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they said. I mean, like I said, that's not included in the article because it's like somewhat hearsay. So like take that with a grain of salt, but it's an interesting little tidbit.
It don't sound realistic, but also I'm not a game dev. I don't know the genetic makeup of Apex Legends. So yeah, I mean, I can't speak. I mean,
they're a big company, aren't they? And like the game looks beautiful and runs well as far as I know. So like, why would the store be different? I don't know. Like I said, this is
they
why
can introduce huge new maps and that. You know
yeah,
I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And like
I don't know how it works, but well, firstly, congrats on the good report, mate. I know you want to be a big boy journalist, even though I've left the game. You've still firmly got your balls deep in there, so I respect it. It's good to see the traction, like especially like it seems like your Digiday reports seem to. I don't know viewership, but on socials they're like picking up decently, man. So, and it's always difficult on the businessy articles. Like you're just naturally not going to get the same as like George could tweet out like, "Oh, Tens just had a shit mid match," and like that would get infinite more. That will get infinite more engagement than like a something that's taken 3 months of deep dive that's showing like real state of the industry stuff. Like this is how a developer, a publisher is working. Like these is what the teams are having to run up against, and it just won't matter. You know what I mean? Like George Geddes will just like get exposed for having like shit riz, and like that will be trending on Twitter. But like an expose of like EA's incompetence for Apex Legends esports, a whole scene, like it just won't match up. It's frustrating. It can be discouraging, but
it can be, yeah. But also like, thanks, mate, appreciate that. But I think some people can probably just get a bit addicted to the social impressions and shit. But like. For me, I'm genuinely like it's nice when obviously when I publish something, I want it to do well on socials and stuff. I'm not gonna fucking lie and say I don't. But like,
well, mate, we know. I know that you don't care about Twitter impressions and likes and stuff because you tweet out stuff that will never get like their likes. You just like you tweet not in a diss way. Like it's enviable in that you're just like, oh, I like this song. I want to talk about this song. Or like,
mate, that's my life.
I didn't think I liked this music group that much, but I actually like 37 of their songs. So who knew? Like, it's not as if you're out there going like, yeah, your mum, like, I don't know, just absolute inane bullshit, you know?
Never going to get best practice out of me on socials, ever.
That's fine. Well, I just don't even tweet anymore, so I mean, it's not.
Yeah, you don't. You're really quiet these days, mate. I
don't tweet
more.
Don't tweet.
I want to see you tweet more.
I sit in the background and laugh at you nerds.
And
then realise I'm a nerd for sitting in the background.
You're in a position where you could just like sling shit at people in esports and like
that's
not really any blowback.
I'm a nice guy.
No, you're not. You're the worst fucking person in the world.
But that's not what you're. No, I said I was going to be nice. So, but based on that report, it made us think it would be worth looking at the other publishers. So. That's a really good breakdown, and again, like that's the kind of like journalism the industry actually needs, as opposed to just roster stuff, because the roster shit's going to happen either way. Like change may not happen unless word gets out and fans rally around stuff. So it's big bollocks. Yeah. And based on that, I think the next best thing to move on to, unless you've got more you want to talk about on the Apex front.
Don't think so. No. Okay.
Let's talk about our favorite developer.
Yep.
The ones who rival even Riot for sexual harassment and very shit workplace.
I think they've surpassed them. No, I'm trying to think.
It's hard to say, mate.
Hard
like
to compare, isn't it?
The CEO of Riot Games farted in an employee's face and is still the COO. Like,
yeah, I remember.
Like, it's not even a Dutch oven. It's like an actual like pure drive-by shit in someone's face. Like the particles still in their skin now, no matter how much they scrub. It's just fucked. And of course, the developer is Activision
Not laughing
Blizzard.
at the thing, by the way. I'm just laughing at the way Adam's.
I just embellish
the way
it like
Adam
an absolute
frames
dickhead.
it. Oh fucking hell! Anyway, carry on before I get cancelled. Before you get cancelled as well. Cyberathletics will be shut down.
I hope so, because that would like really help us when we move over to Rumble. You know,
help us when last Free Nation want to acquire us. We'll have an exclusive show on Telegram. What's the right Truth Social? We'll have an exclusive show on Truth Social.
I've actually gone lightheaded.
I like your t-shirt, by the way. It's really nice.
Thank you, mate. I got it from Chicago.
No, you didn't. ASOS, Primark.
It says it. What proof do you want?
Show me the label, boy.
Are you saying you didn't get that hat from LA?
I did actually, yeah.
Why do we want to be American so much? It's so strange. Activision, Blizzard, SEC filing finally acknowledged the fact that the leagues that it set up and absolutely raked money in for, like, what is the amount they would have gotten at least in guarantees for franchise payments for Overwatch League? I think it's 300 mil. I think, based on the buy-ins.
They were still owed?
As in, like, that's the amount they would get from all the franchise fees once paid off. Obviously, the deferred stuff
from
because
both
of COVID
leagues?
and just Overwatch League, I believe.
Oh yeah, I think probably something like that.
There's 20 teams, and like some of them, it was like between 30 and 60 mil. Like the expansions slots were going for, I believe. And obviously, they've basically fucked off a lot of that value per se because the value isn't there to keep teams in. Because there's been for years, like Toronto has been word of like them trying to get out and obviously we've seen quite a few sales and all that kind of stuff now. LA Thieves coming in and Optic in and out every day like it's fucking Char Slide or something like. But yeah, they basically announced that. Not announced. Sorry, they finally like revealed that yes, things are bad. Even though it didn't need revealing, it just needed like them to acknowledge it because like it's such a bad partner. You know what I mean? They're just pure gaslighting you. It's like your missus. You're like you're just not telling me the truth, love. And she's like, yeah, I am. Like, I've literally not left the house in 3 days. Whereas you saw her leaving on the Ring doorbell yesterday, like holding hands with your brother. Like, it's just like, just be honest. Like, I can see what's going on. So I'll read the quote. I'm not going to say which publication it's from because fuck these guys. But it says, I said I was going to be nice. This is Deserto.
Fuck those guys. I just say I'm not a fan. I understand why you do it. Blah, blah, fucking bullshit. I hate Deserto's social media. Carry on.
Maximum Clark Boy. Our collaborative arrangements for our professional esports leagues, the Overwatch League and COD League, continue to face headwinds which are negatively impacting the operations and potentially the longevity of the leagues under the current business model. We continue to work to address these challenges, which could result in significant costs, and such efforts may prove unsuccessful.
It's bad, that, isn't it?
So they're like, yeah, give us all the millions at the height of the VC funding, and then 4, 5, 6 years on, they're just like, if you read between the lines here, between like just the spin, it's basically saying like, we fucked up. Like the premise and promise in which we sold, we've now worked out just doesn't work. We're gonna try and fix it because we want more money, and we don't want to lose loads of money that we put into it, but we're probably going to fail. Like that is essentially what that is saying in the most like corporate speak thing they can. Like facing significant headwinds and stuff like. So what you're saying is you're failing. Like there's no two ways about it. And such efforts may prove unsuccessful. So the league is dying, and you're trying to not let it die. Like both leagues are dying, and you're trying to not let them die. COD League seems like it's in an okay spot, but we don't know financially. But at least like viewership wise, it's on the rise, and new players coming in and stuff, and actually building some sort of fan base. So That one doesn't seem as doomed as Overwatch League, and that's why probably the title and thumbnail will be Overwatch League related, since people love to hate on it, by the way. So if you've clicked that because of it, this is a section for you. Yeah, man. I don't know if you've got anything you want to hit on first on this.
I know, like, I think we both personally just like COD a lot more. But I also
I was a COD kid growing up, so
yeah, me too. And like, but I thought it's worth like think the COD League is also fucked and doomed. Like I said, like the thing says, in its current business model, with just the state of, oh man, I just don't know. Does it do anything? Does it move the needle revenue wise in any way? Are they going back to like what was the fucking deal with the LAN that was just in like a fucking internet cafe? What was that about?
Park.
Yeah, what was that about? Like, I know it looked quite cool, but like this is supposed to be a big fucking franchise professional esports league. What was that?
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's time to. Oh, also, just sort of got a funny typo here with the captain spelled business. They've put bussiness. Everyone knows bussy is butt pussy, aka anal. Anyway.
He's unhinged since leaving the industry, guys. Viewers, he's unhinged. I'm here for it, personally. I'm waiting on that newsletter, boy. Are you doing that?
Keep waiting.
Didn't you announce something like that? Or am I dreaming? Didn't you like start a Substack or some shit?
If you go on my link tree, there's a link if people want to subscribe, but there's nothing there.
Oh, mate, come on, do something.
Right. I just want to establish that I am operating as a solely free person here and not representing any entity in any form. I am Adam Fitch. I am not representative of a company of any kind. Okay, thank you very much for letting me clear that up. I forgot what I was going to say, mate. Because I've gone on 17 tangents in the space of 3 minutes.
I distracted you heavy there, to be fair.
No. I was about I was about to speak on it, and then I said about Bussy.
Something about. We were talking about that LAN event.
Yeah. What I wanted to say was, it's finally worth speaking about now. Is there a purpose in the geolocated franchises? Or would it be worth having Optic Gaming, 100 Thieves, Misfits, or Heretics? Blah, 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 blah.
Well, it's a weird one because I do think you need to give fans a reason to give a shit, which is why usually the most followed esports teams are like, they're not necessarily location. It doesn't always have to be location in esports. It could be an influencer or whatever. But like Koi, K-Corp, like they're location based, and like people buy into the nation. Loud, all the Brazilian teams. So I think, in a sense, you do need that, but the best way to do that isn't with these fucking geo-located new brands. That's just such a weird decision to me that I never understood it back then, and I didn't understand it for like slightly different reasons. Fast forward to now, my understanding of esports is a little bit better. I still don't fucking understand it one bit. Like, I think, what was the justification that I read the other day? Basically something to do with like if an organization sells a slot, if they're in their own branding and they sell the slot, they're basically selling their own branding. What if another team with like worse branding comes in or whatever? You would at least want to keep like Florida Mutineers gets sold. It could be Miami Heretics. Like, it's still the same location. That gives you some stability, you could argue, but esports is it's just different. Like, that's not going to work unless you have a brand already there. Yeah, like, it's too global. It's too flimsy. It's too small.
It's online first, man. Like splitting it up doesn't make that much sense. Like, Loud is not Brazil Loud. It's just Loud, and it happens to be Brazilian. But you could be a fan of Loud and not be Brazilian, and you know what I mean. Like, it never made too much sense to me from the beginning. Like yourself. I remember I was digging into it a lot when basically I leaked most of the CDL team names because they opened a website before they announced anything, and I went into the source code and they had them all back there. So.
I think I remember that, actually.
Yeah, man.
Good stuff.
And it was at that point, it's so silly. Everyone's like, oh, you got these scoops. I was like, fucking didn't, fam. I just went in source code like an absolute fiend for some reason.
It's journalism, boy. Sometimes that's how you get them.
That HTML course that I went through as an apprentice really paid off. But Atlanta FaZe was revealed, right? And that was the only one that was basically using a existing brand. So I was digging into it a lot at the time. And I spoke to, I'm pretty sure, 9 out of the 12 team owners at the time. I did like a series on it at ESI. And I never got actually anywhere. It's just basically like Paul Hamilton, CEO of Atlanta Esports Ventures, who owns like Atlanta FaZe and now part of FaZe as well. Basically said like, oh well, FaZe is technically a different brand to FaZe Clan, so we was allowed it in. And I'm like, as you say though, having a separate brand is kind of good, both from like a positive standpoint, but also I guess you don't want make it seem as if your brand is somehow beholden to Activision Blizzard as a whole. If they have a lot of say over that team because it's part of their league, you're buying into theirs.
Yeah.
If you're using that brand, it could get murky. If you're using the exact same brand you use in every other game as well. I think there's maybe something there, and I can't verbalize it the exact way I want. But there's added murkiness there where like they control part of your team just naturally. Like they can tell you what you can and can't do to some extent because you're in their world. And that's that.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get that could get really messy, I feel.
Yeah. Well, that's another example of what we're talking about, isn't it? Like the power of the publisher and just its ecosystem is its ecosystem. And in traditional sport, people already know this that are in the industry, but like it's easy to forget. Like in traditional sport, nobody owns the ecosystem like that. Just doesn't. It's like, oh, there's such a good quote. I tweeted it. It's in that Matthew Ball article from a few years ago. Who's the venture capitalist? And it was about like basically the role of publishers. What did he say? He said he spoke to a VC that said esports is like basketball if basketball were owned by Spalding, the ball company, and like eventually Spalding would want to introduce 3 balls into the game. That's like such a perfect like analogy for it, because like I've always said, the publisher's always going to put their profit and like ahead of an esports scene. So if that means fucking a game off and releasing a new one, then that's what they'll do. So yeah, man, the publishers
a la
like
CS2. CSGO's reaching new highs still, and like they're killing it off. I mean? So that's a perfect example of that. You've seen, so CS reached its height again, and like 500 people are watching CS2 because it's just one map. And it's just so fucking messy, man. It's like, what the fuck's going on? Again, it's like that no one has any say in any of that stuff. But not to move on from Activision Blizzard. Deserto, I don't know who's the author here, so I can credit them. Patrick Dane interviewed like the head of Overwatch League, who basically said the esport is not going anywhere anytime soon. And I presume that means anywhere good. You can take it one of two ways. It's like we're not dying, or fuck it, we're just about, you know what I mean?
I suppose they also have an obligation to teams to not just like fuck it off.
Because there's so many millions invested, man. Like
so you can't just say, oh yeah, it's done. Like, they're never going to do that.
Yeah. But interestingly, the kind of franchise partnership model we've seen in League of Legends in terms of like Rogue and Koi, and Heretics. Did they buy the slot? They did, didn't they? They didn't partner with someone to buy their slot in the LEC.
No, I think they just bought it outright.
Yeah. Well, as per a Scoopy Doopy from Super Duper Jake Hale, presuming it is accurate, Misfits, who have been leaning really on like the kiddie entertainment stuff with all their Fortnite and signings and stuff,
talent management,
and just where they're putting their investment generally. They are partnering with Team Heretics, allegedly, reportedly, to basically form the Miami Heretics instead of it being the Florida Mutineers. And I mean, the branding shit anyway for Mutineers, so fair play. Like, get rid of that and let's have something good. I actually kind of like the logo, but it's not really caught on that much.
So what? So
but,
the Heretics are partnering with Misfits to do this.
Yeah, so Misfits own the slot. I
Oh,
believe
right.
that is the crack.
Oh, right. Okay, I'm with you.
But yeah, so it says the Soto sources say they will partner with the Spanish esports organization Heretics to form Miami Heretics. So Miami's part of Florida, Miami territory owned by Misfits. Misfits will presumably pay at least some of the operations. They own the brand, I guess, co-own the brand with Activision Blizzard to some degree, depending on how you look at it. But it'll be Heretics branding, and I'm sure you'll want their management in as well, because they, to be fair, it's actually really good for the league in a sense, because I believe they're bringing in like a fully Spanish roster as well. And when it was the CWL, not the CDL, very popular team, and like that was the only kind of team outside of the FaZe Optic kind of top tier stuff that could like bring in viewers independently. You've got 100 Thieves to add to that list now as well. So like it's just another like it does add a bit of strength to things, though of course it is weird with it being Miami and not say Madrid. It's not the territory they own, but again, it doesn't really matter that much. It's the Heretics part that matters. It's the people who are running it and the team, the roster of players that matter. And I think this is like real proof of that. And it's not fully Heretics taking a bet. It doesn't seem like, because they haven't bought the slot, which may signal that Misfits is happy with where they think the slot's going to go. But it could also mean that Heretics didn't want to fully invest because they don't believe in it too much. But they'll trial it with this and see how it goes. Who knows what kind of deal they've got? Maybe it's we're coming now in a year, we get X%. Over 4 years, we'll take it fully off your hands. It's an interesting one, and you can look at it a bunch of different ways. I think we just need to see basically where it goes over the next couple of years to be able to judge what they're saying with this move, because there's obviously something strategic there from on both parties. I can't work out exactly what it is, whether it's a sign of like confidence or opposite.
Yeah. The devil is always in the details, isn't it, with these things? I think it's like it's possible that this is just like, it probably was just a mutually beneficial thing. Like you said, Heretics might have been able to get in for slightly cheaper than usual because they're like COD. They were happy to do it, and at the same time, Misfits were happy to take like whatever they could get for the slot. They might not have been able to sell it outright, which they may have wanted to do, but they could get this. Obviously, we're speculating majorly, but I'm interested to maybe Jacob Hale will break more stuff on it. Can ask him at a later date.
On a side note, it's lovely actually to have him breaking stories, because I was having a go at him when we was both working at Deserto, because he genuinely was happier writing about TikTok and influencers than he was esports, and now he's like filled the spot that CDL Intel has left, basically. Crone left. So it's nice to see him take that route, and a nice guy who, he's kind of leaning into the attention he's getting, but not in a proper clouty way, just in a smart way of like, look, I can get myself in a better position here. This will help me. Not oh my god, I'm obsessed with the numbers thing. He's like, he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's not going to publish shit he ain't sure of. So just a little side note for him. I know he loves everything I have to say, so no doubt he'll watch this and send me a message. And if not, I'll be very disappointed. So
I spoke to Jake, and he said that like he is very careful about what he publishes. He doesn't publish bullshit, and like love that. Like
he's a little sensitive man. He'd want to jump off of a building. He'd want to practice like cordless bungee jumping if he got something wrong. I have known him for many years. Not as well as I'd like at times, to be fair. That kind of sounds like I want to date him. He's got a little kid, so that's over for me. But very, very good guy, and it's nice to have a positive thing to say about two journalists, both yourself and Hale. I've given props to, and I've only slagged off one so far this episode. So
so we're doing far. Well. Yeah, you're on a run, mate. Thanks. I appreciate it, and I'm sure he does as well. Yeah, he is. He's doing good work. Good stuff, so, Jake. Keep it up, mate.
Activision Blizzard I think really they just care about getting the deal over the line now, and I think it was with Microsoft. That is, I should actually give some context there as to what I'm talking about. That's probably good for a podcast. But I think a scoop came out earlier that the EU were going to approve the deal,
Saw that.
and the UK declined it. But they're just chicken in the balls. It's going to go through. There's too much money involved and stuff. But yes, I think they care about getting that done more than anything else because that's 69 billion, and Kotick can finally fuck off then. Hopefully, because he's just bad PR from effectively.
Yeah.
And no matter what he does now, he could give them all $1 million bonuses, and people are like, "What's he hiding?" Like he can't. He's not in a position where he can win because he's built up a lot of bad faith with players and industry folks. So
he is in. Fun fact: he has a cameo in one of my favorite films. Do you know what it is?
I feel like I should
it's a
know
sports film.
Oh, well, I'm not
quite new in the last 12, 13 years. Moneyball.
Quite new. Football Factory, mate. Oh shit.
You ever watched Moneyball?
No, I haven't.
It's so good, but he's in that as the owner of the team. So the film is about the Oakland A's, and he plays the owner of the Oakland A's, and he's in one scene, and he actually does quite well. But I later found out that it's Bobby Kotick because I recognised his face when I started working in esports. I was like, what? I've seen him in the film, and I looked it up, and I've watched Moneyball 10 times. So,
shit! Okay.
Fun fact. I don't know what he's doing in that film, but
yeah. I think the people that are stuck with us so far, they deserve to get some juicy details. So I will give a quick thing. Speaking of developers, Krafton, PUBG, they tried revenue sharing in 2019 with the PEL, which is the European League, and the NPL, which is North American League. That failed. People getting hundreds of dollars for each for 4 months. So not good. And more recently, in the past couple of years, I can say this: I was trying to get a story out, but wasn't able to for various reasons that I will not say, because I've already dissed them once. But basically, they had back in the day in 2019, they had under the table deals with I believe it was Cloud9, TSM, maybe FaZe, and 2 others, where they were paying them to compete in the game. And a lot of beef was there between other teams and the publisher, the developer, the people running the leagues, because they were playing favorites, basically saying okay, you're the big teams, we need your name in this, so please. I think Liquid was one of them as well. Please compete in our leagues. Here's some money, and then you've got smaller teams who are out of pocket, trying to help build this esport because they believe in it and love the game, not getting anything. You think of the Pittsburgh Knights type organizations that were never quite fully big VC funded at that point. And yeah, more recently as well. So 2021, 2022, they were paying 100,000 at least, I'm pretty sure, to teams outside of any official schemes that they had. They basically, I guess, betted on having a few big names and thinking that would keep other big names around as well, I think, to try and keep the esport alive, which I don't know if that's a very sustainable practice for people running a league or an overall, I guess, circuit and structure to work. So again, it's a case again where the developer is not treating teams fairly, effectively, in my mind, is how I take it. And they don't really know what they're doing, but they just want their game to be big. And PUBG's gone through a lot of shit over the years between being banned and bought out, and there's a lot of internal politics between the Korean office and European and North American offices and stuff. I have scoops on that ESI from many moons ago if you want to go look, because I've forgotten a lot of it now, but there was a lot of shit that went down. I think at one point players basically said, yeah, we're not playing this tournament anymore until you sort some shit out. And then I think it was PUBG Korea that were running the event. They literally went and hid in the office at the stadium that they're in. They went and just hid until the problem was solved. I think there was some maybe in-game glitch or something. They were so scared of the players and the teams and stuff, they went and hid in the office. Absolute mad shit. And that was a Mineski event. I remember that 2019 Mineski Global Series, maybe something like that. But yeah, so absolute fucked over there as well. Another example of teams not getting equal treatment. And it's just not a sustainable practice, man. It's not, and in fact, it's backfired on them because again, like a lot of organisations were pissed off with them.
Yeah, but I guess the point is, if you zoom out beyond esports, these publishers obviously care way more about how many units they sell, how many skins they sell, than they do about their esports scene. So like, the question is just, yeah, some publishers like EA, like I said before, have just made the decision that investing in esports and giving teams like a big chunk of the pie isn't actually worth it financially. Like, it makes no difference if they're still selling well. There's still loads of people still playing the game. Like, there's so many more players of a game than fans of the esport, like by a mile.
Oh yeah.
So they're just, and to be fair, we say like teams are being treated well, but you said earlier on, like, how much was it teams earned from that rev share of the baseball bat in PUBG? Like, hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, like probably like 100. I think, like, what did I say? I have it.
Like 200 odd or something.
So this is there were 3 phases a year, and this was for the 3rd phase. There was a 25% split, and each team for that phase would be getting $173.49. That was the contribution from in-game skin stuff.
That's just awful. That's really good reporting from you, mate. But that's really, really bad. Like, and so you got to think, like, why would a publisher bother doing it? And on the flip side, if skins are going to sell well, regardless, like, our esports teams aren't big enough that they're going to drive more sales than a normal skin. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you make a normal skin and an esports skin, sell them both. The esports related one may be about the same, maybe a bit higher, maybe a bit lower. So, like, in that case, why share any of the money? That's what the publisher would say. That's what a lot of them have said. So that's the doomer take. It's not even doomer. It's just fucking reasonable to think, like, do publishers care enough about this to give teams a leg up? We keep saying, like, the publishers need to help for teams to survive. And this is true. For teams to survive, publishers need to give them a leg up. But that's that's on the org side. That's on esports industry side. But if you just take the industry, say the industry doesn't exist, the publishers don't necessarily care about esports. They care about their game. So yeah, it's a whole. You just got to ask. I don't know. How can we set up a system where esports teams and leagues, like, it's all for the benefit of the game and everyone buys in? I don't know. It's a tough one because the world is much bigger than esports. Esports is small, so.
I'm just hinging on something you said, where basically, like, and it's true. Whereas more players than esports fans of any game.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that's the case for football? Would you say there are more football fans than people who, like, play it on a regular basis, not like one-off, like whether it's five-a-side or Sunday League or whatever? You'd say so, right?
I do think so. Yeah, I think if you went globally, there'll be way more, I think, people that watch it than play it regularly. Way more, because it's cultural. It's like, how many times, like, I can't remember the last time I went for a kickabout. I'm only 26, like, and I go to the pub or watch footy in my house all the time. So yeah, I think this is what I mean, man. Another example of, like, esports just having, like, a fundamental challenge. Most of the people that watch esports are people that currently play the game that they watch. So what happens when they stop playing? What happens when they move on? Like, then what? Where's the industry then? The industry might always be young people that play games that eventually fall out of the data. So yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of really weird challenges esports has, and I am, like, actually quite pessimistic about it, to be honest. I think there's still room. I just don't know if it could ever get to that point of being, like, a tier 1 sport, like basketball, football, that sort of thing. I don't know if it'll ever get to that. Maybe totally across titles, maybe, but
yeah. When people will want to band it all together when they can accurately say that. They're already doing it, comparing esports with the Super Bowl and stuff. Obviously, completely, like, conflating the numbers and combining the entire industry. But all you have to do is remember that, like, the gaming industry is bigger than music and movies combined, and you realize the opportunity at hand if the developers and publishers actually give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
realistically, they
It's
could be
true.
pushing it a lot more than what they do. But it is cool when you say like Open Rocket League and there's esports TV at the top and they're showing like the latest podcast or tournament going on or something. Stuff like that should be just fucking commonplace if you give a shit.
I think so. I think it should be. I
It
think
makes
at the
no
very
sense otherwise.
least, just add a portal to it. You don't even have to fund it yourself. Just put a portal to like the biggest streamers and like the biggest matches, because like I've always thought that was cool. Remember when the first ever esports that I engaged with, I was literally in like primary school. I was like 10 years old. It was a TV. I think the TV channel was called Pulse or something, and it was like Pro COD and Pro Gears of War. And I remember thinking, like, I play these games all the time. I'm watching the best of the world right now. This is so fucking cool. Like, I don't more people find this interesting. So, like, I think people would. You're right. It should just be in the game. Like, when there's a big event on, like CSGO does this, to be fair. Like, when there's a big game on, put a portal to the event so people can go and watch it if they want. Like, yeah, I agree. It should be commonplace. And it is becoming more and more commonplace. I think
it's just very slow to it, considering what it is. But it just shows us that I don't think there's probably a lot of dev dollars that go towards esports because it's such a small piece of the pie.
Yeah, you just put it to the side and like, yeah, we'll do that in a couple of months or whatever, because it's like I said, it's just small. So
yeah, man.
Yep.
So we're 50 minutes in somehow at the beginning of this, or just before clicking record, we didn't actually know what we're going to talk about fully. So that's interesting. I'd like to potentially close it out with positivity, though. Are there any developers you think are doing a good job? I know you mentioned like Riot Games you think do a decent job. Are there any others like 343?
343 do a good job when it comes to do a good job when it comes to. I'm hesitant to give them too much praise because Halo's kind of fucking dead. Like, but they share like 50% of revenue on skins and stuff with teams, and I'm pretty sure teams earn like a decent amount from that.
Good.
Ubisoft with Rainbow Six Siege are mostly very good. Like, the meta changes in that game all the time, and it's weird. Some people
they were quite early with the esports shop and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they were, and some people have a problem with like the new competitive format and stuff. That's all fair, but like they've always listened. They always make big Siege announcements at like 6 Invitational for the whole game, not just for the esport. So like they actually do give a shit, and like they try their best with the scene to like help teams, yada yada yada. So that's cool. Also an Unreal game, Siege.
Just a shame they keep trying to host events in the Middle East and then getting backlash and then going, okay, we'll try it again in a year. When like they've got like feet like is it Jesco, who's like literally esports award winner, like a woman and a lesbian woman, I believe, and then like there's a trans caster and stuff as well, and they're just like, okay, so which Middle East country wants to give us the most money? We don't care about the safety of like some of the faces and voices of our game. Like, besides that, you get the impression they're at least trying, which is more than you can say for some of it. But positivity, like it's generally better.
Yeah, and Riot are good, I think, overall. Like, as a publisher, they build. Seeing it with Project L, the fighting game they're going to release.
I thought that was just the code name for Riot. Anyway, sorry.
Nice. They now design games, Valorant, Project L, to be to facilitate like a viewing experience as well as being a good game, which I think is, it's pretty cool. And they do seem to do things well. Like I said, that they've really taken the lead on the rev sharing stuff and really given teams a lot of money, which it's still annoying that I think, not annoying because like more power to the players. It's not annoying in that sense, but like the whole ecosystem would be healthier if teams kept that money or most of it. And to be fair, I think in some titles they do. I'm pretty sure I speak to someone that said they keep like 70% of skin sales or something like that. But I've also spoken to players in Valorant in particular. They take like 80% of revenue from whatever the team receives for skins. So
because they basically say like your team's nothing without me. You won't keep competing if I'm there. Like, and if they're like players who are winning, it's like, bro, the amount of exposure and credence and accomplishment I'm bringing to your org, like you've got to pay me appropriately. And if you can't afford it like that, like give me some of them skins, boy. Like, it's just outrageous how some of these are earning 20, 30, 50, 100K a month for what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's like you're not even an actual fucking professional.
Is it-
You literally go Korean barbecue and like wank to anime. Like you're not a fucking athlete, man. And you're trying to
Well, they
command
get
more than
no,
like fucking championship football. It's like more than some prem footballers. You think you're worth that?
I
Motherfucker.
mean, they are like
You've literally sleep with a body pillow that has tentacles on it, man.
They're very impressive, but they get a salary. They get a salary. They get the vast majority of prize winnings, and they get the vast majority, in a lot of cases, of skin revenue. So that's
They've got psychologists. They've got nutritionists.
Yeah.
They get
and the teams get left with fucking.
They have to do
peanuts.
fuck all for sponsorship activations a lot of time.
Yeah.
They literally say like I know at one team which is not doing the best, but like it's a prominent team. They literally saying like, oh well, we're not activating sponsors unless you're giving us a cut of that as well. I'm like, motherfucker, like how do you think this team can operate if you're taking percentage of everything? That's what these players think. They don't care as long as they're getting their fill. Like they've got a short shelf life, haven't they? So you've got to take the money while you can until you become a washed up streamer or get lucky like Tarek and them. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of the players that just have no knack for content or branding and did nothing prior to retiring, then just going to streaming and fail. So like they have to try and cash out while they can. And also they feel like rock stars and they're getting DM'd by e-girls who are like 14 on Twitter, like they're feeling cool as fuck. It's a mad one. Well, I think we're gonna have to do an episode on like how teams get the short end of the stick from both angles.
They get the dick from everywhere.
I think we need to talk about how dick hungry they are. You know what I mean? Because I think it's not a narrative that's spoken about enough, and also we should maybe get someone on from a team to discuss that, maybe if they're willing to be open publicly, because I think that's a really interesting angle if you're up for that.
Yeah, I have a couple of ideas as well.
So do I, but I don't think they'd be willing to come on and speak about anything of value. They'd just play mad coy, but we can work about it. And that was not a hint, by the way, by saying coy. I just realised that, but no, I don't speak Espana very well, so...
Yes.
Yeah, man.
But I think, overall, like I said, the conclusion is the publisher is the double-edged sword, and it always will be. I can't see a way this changes. Like, no one's come up with an idea. Like, there isn't... I've thought long and hard about this. Is there, like, a different way of doing it? I've really, really thought about it, and, like... depends on just the public. It's always going to depend on the publisher. There's never going to not be a publisher. You can't make a game. I mean, I suppose you can make a game and just release it into the public.
Decentralized
you'd be the Jesus of esports. Maybe that's what we should do. Make a game, earn loads, and then just release it to the public. Don't earn any money from it. This is now in the public domain, and it always will be forever.
I guess that's the argument for like
people
certain
develop.
Web3 games.
Oh my god! I've just come up with such a good idea. People develop it and add and make changes to it. Yada yada yada. On a voluntary basis, just as like kids that want to, uni students and like people that just, like it sounds unrealistic, but the amount of people that post shit on Reddit, Wikipedia, like mate, there are people out there that would do it.
But then we'd get told that we're exploiting free labor of like young folk.
Nah, because it's
for clout and exposure.
I think that's how esports wins.
Well, I think like as people who are probably trying to make decentralized games per se, so like games that are not owned by anyone, eventually will just be out in the ether. I don't know how they operate on a long term, but I assume they've basically got the.
But surely someone still owns that, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone still owns.
Who owns Bitcoin as a concept?
Yeah, but Axie Infinity is a blockchain game, and like a company owns that.
Do they claim to be like decentralized though? You know what I mean?
So actually, make the game the decentralized thing.
Yeah, like not any one entity owns the game. It's a
you're telling me all these Web3 shills have been right all along? Web3 is how you solve esports.
Or at least decentralized. Maybe you don't need NFTs and stuff, but like, or maybe you do.
Maybe you do, yeah.
Maybe you need like ownership tokens of some sort or something. I don't know. But I think like the decentralized aspect is the way to cut out the leech, and there's a lot of questions about like ongoing development and actually running the leagues and stuff. But again, like you've got tournament organizers who can run leagues and tournaments, so like that part exists already. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have answers.
Interesting.
But
God damn.
There's something to think about, mate.
It is. It's interesting that.
But yeah, so we're about to hit an hour. So I think we can call it there unless we've got anything else that.
It's a good effort, that, mate. Let me see if I've made any notes. No, Psyonix, I guess, just quickly mentioned, they give teams like, I think it's 30%.
Epic Games. That's who they are now, isn't it? So...
Is it? Oh, yeah, they own Epic Games, own Psyonix.
Yeah. That was like 2-3 years ago, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny, you see the dichotomy between how Fortnite's treated as an esport and Rocket League. Like, Rocket League basically is just competitive game through and through no matter what, so it does make sense to put...
And Fortnite, their whole focus is elsewhere. Their whole focus is like metaverse creation. It's actually sad. I'm so on board with fucking Epic. They're such a cool company. No?
I've not looked into them that much, mate, I'll be honest with you.
Fairs. So, Tim Sweeney's just a fucking badass. I love him. He's sick. Anyway, I'm not going to suck his dick, though.
Well,
don't love him in that much.
Yeah. We can call it there. As like a little anecdote to end the podcast, so we started off with the relevancy, so let's end it that way as well. About 2 people will make it to this point, so I don't feel embarrassed saying this, but I hope my ex-girlfriend isn't watching this, but a lovely young lady that I am seeing at the moment arrived the other day with flowers for me. How do you feel about that? It's the first time I've ever received flowers. Like, I don't know any bloke that's ever received flowers unless it's on their grave.
Was it jarring?
Oh, 100%. I felt
so
embarrassed, so awkward, and I'm like so neutral.
Nah, you shouldn't be embarrassed. I get why.
I just didn't know how to react.
I'd be like, oh shit, thanks.
It's like someone telling you you've won the lottery. It's just like, okay, this don't happen to me. Like,
I think I know how to react in that situation. But no, I get you. I get you. So
yeah, and I spoke to my dad about it, and he was basically like, "Oh, I feel like a bitch." I'm like, right, okay, the wrong person to speak to about it. But it's a lovely move, and I just thought, like, you know what, like, oh, that's interesting. Why do men never get bought flowers?
Yeah, why do men not get bought flowers?
It's definitely seen as like a man to woman thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, it's like men do the gifting generally. I suppose, like, because you have to try and win them over and court them in the beginning, so you do that instead of you love bomb them and buy them stuff, and it's game over. So
gender bias.
Yeah, it's pure misandry at its finest. But yeah, that's a good way to end it. And also shout out Beth.
That's beautiful. Yeah, shout out Beth. Good stuff, Beth. That's actually cute as fuck. I love that. I think I would quite like that. It's quite nice. I would agree though. I'd be a bit like, how the fuck do I react?
Honestly, I didn't. Oh, mate, I felt mortified. I felt like I can't accept them, even though it's a really nice gesture.
No, you better have accepted them.
I do. They're in
flowers?
I can go look.
It's cute, that, isn't it? Guys that are still listening to this. It's a nice gesture. Oh, it's cute. It's like tulips or something, isn't it? Or not? Are they roses? Tulips, I think.
Might be pink roses.
Tell us in the comments.
They're nice.
Like
and subscribe, motherfuckers.
Yeah.